What is happening with the February 2023 Visa Bulletin? We're going to be talking about the trends and insights about the Visa Bulletin. My name is Ranchod. I'm an immigration attorney representing clients throughout the 50 states. Been practicing for over 20 years. Well, what is happening? So nothing too amazing with this Visa Bulletin. It was not very interesting. However, there have been some changes, so let's talk about what those are. USCIS has indicated that you must use the dates for filing chart for both the family and employment-based categories. So an important thing to know is the FB2A is current. So that means that you can file the I-130 and 485 concurrently. The fact that this is current is great news because you can file the I-130, 485 concurrently, work authorization concurrently. However, this may not continue for the rest of the year. So it is advisable, especially in the situation where you've maintained lawful status, to go ahead and file, because if the prior date is not current, then you may not be able to file the I-130 and 485 concurrently, depending upon when you filed your application. So this is something really important to note. Another fact that I want to bring up is that with the F1 category for Mexico, and this is the family-based FB1 category, using the final action dates chart, great news is that this is moved by 5 months. All right, now let's go in and look exactly at what is happening with these charts. First, we're going to take a look at the family-based categories. For the F1 category, the priority date for all countries is August 2016. That's also the same for China, August 2016, India 2016, Mexico, December 2002. So for the family-based first preference category for Mexico, it's about 20 years. Philippines, April 2015. Now for the F2A category, what I mentioned earlier, for all countries, it's current. That includes China, that includes India, that includes Mexico, that includes the Philippines. Let's note that none of this has changed from January. So really lackluster. The F2B category, January 2017 for all countries, China 2017, India January 2017, Mexico they're looking at January 2002, and Philippines October 2013. The family-based third category, their priority date is November 2009, China 2009, India 2009, so you'll see that all countries, China and India, are the same. However, Mexico on all these is far behind with June 2001 and the Philippines November 2003. And then finally, this is the F4 category where a U.S. citizen applying for a brother or sister, that's December 2007. China 2007, India February 2006, Mexico April 2001, and the Philippines April 2004. Now we're going to move on to the employment-based preference categories. For the employment-based first preference, all countries are current. China is at June 2022. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras is current. India, June 2022. So you'll see here China and India are the same. Mexico and Philippines are current. And none of these dates were different from last month in January. Second preference category, all countries except the ones that we're going to talk about, December 2022. China, July 2019. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, December 2022. India is at May 2012. Mexico, December 2022. And the Philippines, December 2022. Now we'll look at the third preference category. All countries except the ones we're going to talk about are current. China's at September 2018. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras is current. India is at August 2012. Mexico is current, and the Philippines is current. Now let's look at the other workers category. That's at February 2020. China is at November 2015. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras is February 2020. India is at 2012. Mexico is at February 2020, and the Philippines is at February 2020. And then we'll look at the fourth preference category. That's at July 2022. China is at July 2022. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras is April 2018. India is at July 2022. Mexico is October 2020. And the Philippines is at 2022. And then we have religious workers. They're at July 2022 for all countries except the ones we're going to talk about. China is July 2022. El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras is April 2018. India is July 2022. And Mexico is October 20. Philippines is July 2022. Now let's look at employment-based fifth preference. All countries except the ones listed are current. January 2016 for China. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras is current. India is at 2019. Mexico is current and Philippines is current. For the fifth preference, that doesn't include if it's rural, high unemployment, or if there's infrastructure set aside. In those situations, they're all current. What I'm hoping is to see improvement as we move along. The great news is that embassies are starting to catch up and they are getting through that COVID backlog. Of course, we're going to continue to keep you informed, so I want to make sure that you are informed. So subscribe, and we will continue to talk about these processing times on a myriad of different levels, not only with the Visa Bulletin, but with different types of cases. So make sure you subscribe, share this with a friend who may need this information, and I will see you next week. You are truly amazing because by taking the time to watch this video, you're bettering yourself. By bettering yourself, you're bettering your family. And by bettering your family, you're bettering the world. Bye for now.